the James Harden and Darius Garland trade experiment isn't as bad as you may think. Let's talk about it. So James Harden was traded from the Clippers to the Cavs in exchange for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. Harden wanted to get out of the Clippers. I'm sure that there were some locker room things going on, and like he could sense that he wasn't going to get the money that he wanted. So he decided he wanted a new change of scenery and wanted to play for a contender. I'm going to be honest, this trade caught me by pure surprise. I did not expect that Cleveland would trade Darius Garland, being that he is 10 years younger than James Harden, and he was on the up and up. Like he's so young, he hasn't even hit his prime yet, and he has the potential, or still has the potential to be a great point guard in the league. I can see where Cleveland's woes were, like problems with Garland. My man was dealing with mad lower body injuries all the time in the playoffs last year. He tried to play, so I give him that, but he didn't really play that much because of those like foot injuries and toe injuries. And then he was out half the year. I want to say a good amount of time this year with like injury with his feet. So I see it from their perspective, right? You got to look at it from their perspective. You trade for Harden. Yes, Harden's older. He's a little bit more battle tested. He's a little bit, granted, his track record isn't the best, but he is battle tested. And for him being 10 years older, he is a lot more durable than Darius Garland. So let's see, like, I want to compare stats for how they played in each season for each team that they played for in the remaining parts of the season. So Darius Garland played 19 games for the Clippers. He averaged 20 points, and I'm rounding everything to the highest or to the lowest. Like if it was 2.1, I'm 2.1. I'm not gonna say 2.1. It's 3. Like that doesn't make sense. He averaged 20 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1 steal. While Harden played 26 games for Cleveland, and he averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1 steal. If you ask me, that's not necessarily night and day. You can see that there's some differences, especially in the assist category for Harden. He's producing more points, whether he's scoring it or he's getting someone open. He's producing more points for the team than Darius is, but he also played 26 more, or he played more games. He played almost 6-7 more games than Darius Garland, so it's like a difference. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. But I feel like for the long haul, having James Harden on the Cavs team isn't as bad as as it seems right now. Yes, they just got swept by the New York Knicks, a team that we think is just clicking on all cylinders, that we think they have the potential to win the championship. Yes, that did happen, but they did take the number 1 seed prior to this to 7 games. So like you gotta like pros and cons. But I do think that Cleveland messed up a little bit by thinking that James was gonna be like their number 2 option. We've seen it in Brooklyn. We've seen it with the Clippers. James Harden is no longer a number 1 or number 2. When he got traded, when he was in Brooklyn, he was the number 3 option behind Kevin Durant and Kyrie. When he got traded to the Clippers, he was the number 3 option behind Kawhi and Paul George. I don't know why or how they came up with the assumption that James would be like a really good number 2. Don't get me wrong, he can score in spurts every now and again. He'll have that 30, 25 plus point game, 35 point game, but like on a consistent basis, that's not what Cleveland needed. Cleveland needed I do agree that they needed a 3rd scorer, or like a ball handler, a facilitator, which is why you get Harden. He's more vetted in that. But you need a bona fide 2nd scorer, and that's where I think that they lacked on. Do I think that Harden will open up Evan Mobley's game? Most definitely. You saw it in the later half of the season and in the playoffs. James Harden like opening up Evan Mobley's game, him scoring a lot more, feeling a lot more confident on the basketball court, knowing that like someone is always looking for him or always has their eye on him. But as far as like everyone else, like you need to pair with Donovan Mitchell, you need a second scorer. Donovan Mitchell is already like an undersized 2 guard, so you need either you got to build like how the Knicks did with a bunch of defensive wings around Donovan Mitchell, or you need to have a second bona fide second option, and I don't think James Harden is that. Where they go from here, I have a hot take. I don't necessarily want to like put all the. I have to like do a little bit more research before I just say what I want to say. But do I think that this Harden trade and Garland trade was a failure? No, not at all. I think there's a lot more nuance to this. I also think like the Clippers doing this trade, obviously you're going to trade for a younger team. Look what they did, or a younger player. Look what they did they traded Zubac and got Benedict Mather, and their team got a whole lot younger, like overnight almost. So I think for both teams, it'll work out well. How well, I think it depends on what Cleveland does. The Clippers are like up in the air because they still have Kawhi and they have to figure all that stuff out. But as far as like Cleveland, like they have to move, and they're like in a chess game right now. They're gonna have to like really figure things out. I think that this trade wasn't a failure, but it wasn't a success. As a success would have been like they made it to the finals. I think this wasn't bad though, conference finals. But I think it is slightly a failure when it comes to like that series, because like getting swept is not a good look. But do I think as a whole the trade will be a failure? I mean, only time will tell. As of right now, I don't think it is. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about, and that's all I got right now when it comes to this trade. I don't think it's the worst. I think it could have been way worse. They could have not made the playoffs. Like I said, we'll see what Cleveland does. They have a whole offseason to figure it out. What they need to do and what they will do. So yeah, until next time. See ya.